The Indie Lounge is brought to you by Flightline Financial, pilots helping pilots with their financial needs, and Lexerd Capital Management, a real estate private equity firm.
Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Indie Lounge. Yes, we are on Season 3. I'm your host, Mandy Del Rio, and our guest today is feature film director, writer, and producer Jack Thomas Smith. Jack is also the executive producer of the Indie Lounge. So Jack, welcome.
Thanks for having me on again.
It's always a pleasure. So yes, we've had you on again. We have kind of a new audience now, so I want to introduce you, do some recaps, talk about some fun stuff.
Awesome.
And your new latest developments. So let's start. You've written, directed, and produced 2 feature films.
Correct. That
have both gotten distribution, which congrats to you.
Thank you.
Yes. And one of them is, the first one was Disorder.
Yes.
And what year was that?
Well, Disorder was originally released in 2006 by Universal Vivendi. They released it nationwide on DVD. It was in every Walmart, every Hollywood Video, Blockbuster, all that. And then in 2007, Warner Brothers released it on pay-per-view.
Okay.
So that's going back a little ways.
That's great.
But recently, Disorder's just been released on digital HD for the first time by Monarch Films. So it's awesome. You can actually see it online now. It's funny, when Disorder was originally released, it was back in the olden days when there was a thing called video stores.
Right.
So
and things were shot on film.
Yes, yes, exactly.
The dinosaur that is film.
Yeah, which I loved. But
me too.
Disorder was shot on Super 16s. So,
right.
yeah,
That's great.
So now it's in the modern age.
Okay.
And you can get it online at Amazon Prime and Vimeo and
Awesome.
Of Guide, and there's all different places.
Okay, great. And also the other one was Infliction, which I know inside out and backwards.
Absolutely, yeah, we met.
I know, it's great. It's a great.
That's where we met, when we were shooting Infliction.
My favorite movie
Absolutely,
in the world.
Same with mine. But yeah, Infliction was originally released in 2014. We did a limited theatrical release with it, as we did with Disorder. But with Infliction, we did a limited theatrical release, and it was released on DVD and VOD and digital HD by Virgil Films and Entertainment. They're the same company that released Super Size Me. So we did that, and then what's going on right now with Infliction is now it's the TV aspect of the release. It's now available on cable VOD, Time Warner, Comcast, RCN, all the major cable distributors all over the country. So I'm busy promoting that right now.
Right, and also a relatively new distribution channel that's like Netflix.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Which is one of our favorite channels now.
Yeah, Fright Picks. Yeah, thanks for reminding me on that. Yeah, it's very cool that it's on Fright Picks, and I mean it's also available on Amazon.
Right.
And Vudu, Walmart, all that. So, and it's you can get Infliction, the actual physical DVD at FYE stores, which is cool to go into a Saturday matinee or an FYE, and there it is sitting on the shelf. That's awesome. But Fright Picks, that's really cool. And actually, a friend of mine just the other night, Purple Pam. She's a rock, she's a rock singer in New York, and I'll give her a shout out. And she did a song for Infliction, did a song for Disorder. We shot music videos for both. And it was just ironic. The other night, she sent a photo to me. Hey, I'm watching it on Fright Picks right now. So anyway, it's very cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And you have a new website now.
I do.
Where people can go to see all this info, about your movies, where to find them. There's clips. Your website is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
thank
yes. And if you want to tell people where to go for that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the official website is jackthomassmith.com. So it's real easy. It's just my 3 names. I'm one of those 3 name guys. I had to. I mean, my birth name is John Smith. So I go by Jack.
Come on, there's not very many
Yeah,
of
I know.
those.
There's not a whole lot of Jack Smiths in this world. So anyway, so that's why I do the Jack Thomas Smith. That's my middle name. But anyway, it's jackthomassmith.com. And when you go on the website, it has my bio on there. It has links to my films, you know, where you can purchase them, rent them. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's got like the loops. When you go to the Disorder page, it's got loops of clips from the film. So, and then it also has a page dedicated to my production company, Foxtrail Productions, which, you know, we've shot a bunch of music videos.
I was just going to ask you about your music videos.
Yeah, so we've done that, and corporate videos and sizzle reels and all that. So, you know, so all the information's right there. My email address is right there. All the social media links to me personally, to the films. So it's all right there.
Yeah, it's very well done. Very
Thank
cool. Now I want to talk a little bit, again, we have a new audience, relatively new. So quickly, why don't we talk about Disorder, tell people what it's about. If you could just kind of go over it, give people kind of an idea of what they want to watch.
Yeah, thank you. Disorder is a psychological thriller. It's told from the perspective of the main character, who is a paranoid schizophrenic. So the whole time you're watching the film, you're not sure what's real, what isn't. And then right when you think you have it all figured out, there's a twist ending. So it was, it was a low-budget film. We shot it in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. And like I mentioned earlier, we got very lucky with it, that we made this little indie film, and it got picked up by Universal Vivendi. They put it out in all the major outlets.
Well, they wouldn't just pick up anything. It's actually a fantastic film.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
You. But yeah, and it's kind of got that Brian De Palma, Hitchcock vibe to it, you know. So yeah, it was just an amazing experience. And for an indie film, it was a 61-day shoot, which is unheard of in the indie world. Usually indie films, it's like a week, 2 weeks. But my crew was awesome. The director of photography, Jonathan Belinsky, did an amazing job. Lead actor, Darren Kendrick, was fantastic. And he's done amazing. I mean, Darren's been in a ton of stuff since Disorder. He's been on Heroes. He's been, he was the ice creature, the ice monster in Thor.
Right?
Thor. They designed the creature after Darren. You know,
cool.
So it was
the
really.
soundtrack too is quite notable.
Yeah.
Joel.
Yeah, Joel Goodman. Yes, the composer. I mean, so yeah, we just had such a great team on it. Our editor Gabe Friedman did a great job. So yeah, I love, you know, give a shout out to everyone. Sound designer Roger Licari. So anyway, a lot of great people on it. Yeah,
definitely, and it shows. It's fantastic. And like you said, it was shot in Blairstown.
Yes.
We have to mention the Friday the 13th connection.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the scenes there was right on Main Street in Blairstown, which is where they shot some of Friday, the original Friday the 13th.
Which I happen to know is one of your favorites.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, and then quickly about, you know, Infliction is a little more controversial, a little more.
Excuse me.
It's different. It's also psychological. It's also fantastic. But give people a lowdown kind of about Infliction too.
Sure. Yeah. It's a psychodrama, and basically what it is, it's a film that documents 2 brothers in 2011 who are documenting their revenge, essentially, on people who we're not sure what they did to them, what the history was there, but you kind of put it all together as it goes on. And it's, I mean, not to give too much of the plot away, but it deals a lot with child abuse and the long-term effects of child abuse, and kind of how the system fails those, you know, that it's supposed to protect.
Right. Now you said the direct quote is that film made you feel conflicted and haunted, and I want to get back into that when we're back from the break. We're going to take a really short break, but I do want to get into what you want people to take away from this kind of movie. So we'll talk more about that when we get back. Okay, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, more with Jack Thomas Smith. Stay tuned.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
I can't seem to save anything.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
And we're back. You're watching the Indie Lounge. I'm here with feature film director, writer, and producer Jack Thomas Smith, executive producer of the Indie Lounge. To throw that one in there.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Infliction before the break. And, you know, like I said, one of your quotes was, I felt conflicted and haunted after I did this movie while I was doing this movie. What is it that you want people to take away from this film, you know, when they see it? Is it, you know, what's kind of behind this film for you?
Well, like I said before the break, it deals with the long-term effects of child abuse. And, you know, we did a ton of screenings of the film. We went all over the country with it. And, you know, we had Q&A sessions after the screenings. And it was amazing how this film hit people. And at some of the screenings, you know, there were people that, you know, they would raise their hand and say, I just want to let you know, I was a victim of child abuse, and this film really spoke to me because it almost gave the victims a voice. And I know, you know, like I said, doing these screenings and speaking to audience members who talked about their experiences with, you know, their own horrors of child abuse, the one thing that always escaped them was that they couldn't get closure. That, you know, and that was the one thing that Infliction kind of showed was, you know, you're watching the film, you don't know why these brothers are doing what they're doing. And, you know, not to give away too much of the plot, but you find out that it's basically targeting those who had abused them and those in the system who had failed them. But at least they basically took their lives back from their abusers and from the people who betrayed them in the system who should have been protecting them. So if anything, you know, maybe it can, you know, help people just kind of feel almost like a sense of empowerment over their abusers. Maybe they can take that away. And, you know, and honestly, I mean, there's just bad people in the world, and unfortunately, and, you know, sometimes, you know, it's good to see bad people get what's due to them.
Deserve. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
I'm all for that.
Yeah, exactly. Eye for an eye.
Right,
So.
and it really does give you insight directly into the mind of of these two young men, of their families, and it's, again, kudos to you. It's very well done. Very well done. My favorite movies. And I'm not biased, it's the truth. So I definitely recommend you checking that out at, you know, viewers at home. And that's again on your website. And I want to talk, getting back to your fabulous website, your music videos, because there's so much art. Those, to me, they're like mini movies, which...
Oh, very cool, yeah.
Absolutely, and we don't see a lot of, you know, you know, we talked about this before. Where is the music video going?
Oh, they're gone. Yeah.
I mean, there's still some. I know, like a lot of the country artists like to do. You know, they do these elaborate, fantastic videos, but we're really lacking the old school storytelling, the old school like film set to music. And I think with your videos, I recommend you checking them out. You know, our audience, again, when I'm talking to the audience, you know, on the website. And I want to ask you personally, which one, or like what genre of the videos you've done so far, what's kind of like your thing? Like what's your favorite type, I guess? So they're all great.
Oh, thank you. You definitely, my favorite type of music is rock. I love hard rock. Rolling Stones are my all-time favorite band. Yeah, they're my all-time favorite. They're on Zeppelin, The Doors, The Beatles, The Who. I mean, those are my guys. So, you know, I've done a bunch of music videos. I did one for Kevin O'Connor. He's a country folk, soft, you know, like adult contemporary. It was escaping me, the term. So that video came out really great. It's a beautiful video. Story, you know, it was just story driven. And then I've done a couple of videos for Purple Pam, who I mentioned earlier. And I did a video for an artist, Danny Stoddard, who's, you know, kind of hard rock, metal, that type of thing. So, yeah, the one video in particular that I really like the best is the one I did for Pam, the How Does It Feel? because that was so in my wheelhouse. You know, the grungy, gritty rock, just down and dirty. You know, and the song was cool. Where we shot at the Art Factory in Patterson, and so the locations were just awesome looking. You know, so that would I'm a huge fan of the music videos from the 90s. I think that was the best time period ever for music videos. That's because they had real budgets. I mean, they were putting like $1 million into some of the videos. MTV was playing videos, and you still can make money selling records back then. So it's like with everything, because of the internet, there's good and bad. One bad side is that the music industry definitely took a hit from it. There's not as much money, so they're not putting that level of production into music videos anymore, unless you're Britney Spears or Lady Gaga.
Right. Well, I think you know, that's all technology. Thanks, technology.
Yeah, it's technology.
Exactly. Now people don't need it. They can go into YouTube, or they can make their own and you know, set things to you know, music. What are some of your favorites from the 90s? I'm curious.
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, honestly, I love the Marilyn Manson videos. Those were fantastic.
Those are scary.
The Sweet Dreams and Beautiful People is awesome. And another one of my favorite videos of all time is Smashing Pumpkins' Bullet with Butterfly Wings.
Oh, that's a cool one.
That video is fantastic.
That's really
cool. And then Stabbing Westward had a couple cool videos. Not so much early 90s, like, MC Hammer, no. Believe me, I can't touch this. So, no, not a fan. I'm talking more about the gritty, grungy.
Well, to me, November Rain always stands out.
November Rain, that's a movie.
That's a movie. Yeah, that's a movie. Don't Cry
was fantastic. So there were so many back then, and I'm probably forgetting 100 of them right now.
Yeah, well, it seems to me like, you know, you've said before too, you're not like a quote unquote horror guy, but a lot of your likes and passions tend to just coincidentally be horror, horror relevant. And you know, that even shows with the types of videos that you enjoy and that you want to make. And,
exactly.
But you know, I want to get into the stuff that you like that aren't necessarily horror. You know, have you thought about making, you know, other films ideas, or, you know, do you want to just do horror, or are you in the market for other types of films?
No, I actually have a couple projects I'm trying to develop. One is called Look at Me. It's like a black comedy type of thing. And really what it deals with, it deals with the whole narcissistic society that we live in right now, where, you know, if someone, it's like the commercial we saw, just because you take a selfie in the kitchen, you're not a model. You know?
I was just going to say, hold on, I'm going to get my camera for this, and we're going to take a selfie while we're talking about this.
Exactly, yeah, we'll be models now.
Snapchat or Instagram.
Yeah, whatever it is. But it deals with all of the, you know, just the narcissism that's rampant now, the YouTube stars and all that. And then I also have another script that I'm developing called Illegals, which, you know, is very timely. It deals with just the issue of illegal immigration in the United States, and I don't really take a position on it.
Right.
It's kind of in the middle, and let the audience decide.
I love that. Well, we're going to take another short break, and then when we get back to it more, I want to talk about some more fun stuff. I love hearing, like, you know, I love our audience getting to know you as a person, not just a film director and everything. Great. So we are going to take another short break, and when we come back, more with Jack Thomas Smith.
Papa!
Welcome back to the Indie Lounge. I'm Mandy Del Rio. We're here with Jack Thomas Smith, feature film director, writer, and producer. I want to kind of switch gears here to something a little more fun, to kind of get to know you a little more. We'll have our audience get to know you a little more. You and I have talked a lot lately about the American Film Institute, the AFI list. That's been a lot of fun.
That's cool,
so I want to go over, because I know we got into, in the last segment, I said, you know, horror is not like totally, you know, you're not all about horror.
Right.
But you and I are both horror fans, obviously. The AFI comes up with all these lists of 100 this, 100 that. And you and I were curious about the horror genre, like what is their list of horror? And of course, they don't have a horror. It's called Thrills and Chills.
Thrills and Chills, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So there were films on there where we're like, huh, that's interesting. So they have a top 10 list, and I want to talk to you about it because I want to get your opinion.
Okay.
And I kind of want to know where you're at.
Yeah.
So going over the top 10 chills and thrills of the AFI list, number 1, Psycho.
Okay.
Number 2, Jaws.
Okay. I can't argue either of those.
I know. Number 3, Exorcist. The Exorcist.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, in any order, the top 3. You can mix those all up in any order.
Yes.
But those are definitely top 3.
Yeah. Number 4, North by Northwest.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't know if
there was so much that went into that.
Yeah, that's more like action, I think. You know, I mean, I guess
it's thrills.
It's thriller.
There's some thrills and
it's
chills.
a thriller.
Yeah, it's so complex. It's a good.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Hitchcock.
Yeah.
The Silence of the Lambs is number 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Alien, number 6.
Yes.
The Birds, number 7.
Yep, absolutely. Can't argue.
The French Connection, number 8. Again,
that's like an action movie.
It's like drama.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh
French
God,
Connection is fantastic.
It's in the top.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a thriller.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but that's number 8.
Yeah.
Number 9, Rosemary's Baby.
Not a fan.
I know.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not a fan.
I know. Not that we're supposed to like
yeah,
but no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I take The Omen. I'd put probably The Omen in place
there's
of that.
so many other movies.
There's a bunch,
but
if you're just talking about kids and you know, possession and things like that, and the devil. Number 10, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I mean, it's a great movie, but I don't know if again, to me, that's an action adventure.
It's action, but it's chills and thrills.
Thrills and chills, yeah.
But you know what was number 11?
No.
The Godfather.
What? Yeah.
I'm just telling you what the list said.
I mean,
yeah, isn't that funny?
The Godfather is amazing.
It's one. It should be. I mean, that to me is one of my top 10 movies of all time.
Well, I think on the AFI top 100 of all times, that's
it's definitely
considered
on
the
there.
second greatest of all times, only behind Citizen
Kane.
But yeah, in terms of a thriller, I don't. That to me is just a drama.
Yeah, right.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, and it's real life.
Yeah.
Horror.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not. So, what would you say your top 10? Okay, let's just forget about the chills and thrills. Let's do horror. What are your top 10 horror films?
Top 10 would be tough. I could definitely give you, I mean, my all-time favorite horror movie, all-time favorite is Dawn of the Dead. It's the one that came out in '78, directed by George Romero. That is my all-time favorite horror movie. I mean, in terms of rank, I'll throw some out there. I would go The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, not the remake. That one was a remake from the 50s, but I'm talking about the one in the 80s.
It's the middle one.
The middle one. The Thing, Halloween. I mean, The Omen is up there.
What about The Exorcist?
Oh, The Exorcist, yeah, the original Night of the Living Dead.
Scariest movie.
The Exorcist is phenomenal.
For me, that's number 1.
Yeah, that's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead, the original one, is fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic.
I mean, it started everything.
The whole thing with the zombies.
You can't have Walking Dead without Night of the Living Dead.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the 70s horror flicks. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th. You can go the original Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, and I like Fright Night. Fright Night's great.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. Zombieland's great. I love Zombieland. I mean, it's like a comedy horror, but I love it. You know?
What's the one with Simon Pegg too? The English one.
Oh, Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead is
Great.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's really funny. But to me, Jaws, I do consider Jaws a horror,
and
that's
a monster
one of my
movie.
like it really is.
Absolutely.
You know what I was surprised about is that The Shining.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot to mention The Shining. Yeah, The Shining's fantastic.
Yeah, that's probably one of my
how's
top
that not in
5.
the top 10, you know?
It's number 29.
Yeah, see, I would have put that ahead of Rosemary's Baby.
Well, me too. Night of the Living Dead is 93.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Carrie's 46.
Yeah, that movie's amazing.
Yeah, but I would put Night of the Living Dead before even that. But
I agree.
The Godfather's scarier than The Shining.
I mean, come on. Maybe real life horror.
I know that exactly. So you know, we get into that, and then oh gosh, there's this really great one. It's a great one. I have to quiz you on this. So
Okay.
they also have quotes, and you and I are big on quotes, but mainly like Goodfellas. I think we've had
my
entire
all-time favorite movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I think we've had entire conversations where it's just quotes from Goodfellas.
Yeah, but this is family viewing.
Yeah, I know, right? No, that's why we can't. Right? All right, we're gonna
We
keep
couldn't.
it. We're gonna keep it. You know, rated G here. So, I am gonna ask you, what do you think? Because I know you're a movie buff.
Yeah.
What do you think the #1 movie quote is of all time, according to AFI? #1.
Oh my God, the #1. I mean, for me, it would be Tommy in Goodfellas. What am I, a clown?
Yeah,
You think I'm
I
a
know.
clown? That would be me.
Uh-huh.
But AFI, I mean, it could have been.
Just think of the #1 quote that has been quoted.
I made him an offer he couldn't refuse from The Godfather.
That's really good, and I think that's #2.
So then #1 could have been Casablanca. What does he say? Of all the gin joints, she had
Of all the places
something.
she had
I know I'm butchering it. #1 movie quote of all times. May
All
the force
time.
be with you.
No, that's in there.
Okay.
All time.
I give
You're
up.
gonna kick
I'll
yourself.
be back.
No, that's
Go
in
ahead,
there, but
make
that's not
my
it.
day.
No, we're just gonna keep
I
going.
know. I'll just keep going.
No, you're gonna kick yourself.
Okay.
Frankly, my dear.
Oh yeah, there. Yeah. How did I forget that one? Yeah,
yep,
Gone with
Gone
the
with the
Wind.
Wind.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. There's
That's
a bunch
awesome.
from there. Yeah, I love that movie. That's another one of my. That's in
it's
one of my
amazing.
all-time
Yeah,
favorites.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. I
Yep.
think AFI, when they counted down the top 100, it was Citizen Kane was #1, Godfather was #2. I think 3, I want to say, was Gone with the Wind. No, I'm sorry, 3 is Casablanca. 4 was Gone with the Wind. 5 was Wizard of Oz. And I think I'm getting into like 6 was The Graduate. 7 was On the Waterfront. I'm
Something
sure
like
I'm
that,
off.
and It's a Wonderful Life. Is
Yeah,
on,
It's a
which
Wonderful
is one of my
Life. And
favorites.
Some Like It Hot's
Yeah.
up there.
Some
and
Like It Hot is the #1 comedy.
Yeah, that's
which,
#1
That's
comedy, which I get.
appropriate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
It was kind of before its time.
Oh yeah,
that movie.
absolutely.
You know, also something a little bit, and we only have a minute here. Personally, I know you're a history buff.
Yeah.
And I know just, oh my gosh, I learned so much from you, which is great, because I love history too.
Yeah.
But I have to know this one question, and then we're going to wrap up, and you can go over your website again. If you have to direct or make one movie about someone in history, who would it be?
Oh my
Not
God.
now. Not now with all the circus of what's going on politically.
Forget about it. Historically?
Yeah, like historically,
Oh my God, that is a great question. There's just so many people throughout world history. Andrew Jackson was interesting. Teddy Roosevelt was fascinating. Ronald Reagan was fascinating. Harry Truman. There's just so many
How about
many
the dark
people.
side?
Good God. We talked about that family that no one really ever talked about, that crazy family in the Midwest in the 1800s, that they were luring people into a cabin and killing them. And
yeah, I don't remember their names.
I can't remember their names either.
Okay,
but
so
there's
something like that. Didn't you say
like
something
that.
about Lizzie Borden?
Oh, and Lizzie Borden.
Yeah,
There's so many.
Okay,
Yeah, politically.
so we're thinking,
and
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to know. I just wanted
Yeah,
to
that's right.
to
I
ask
forgot
you that.
about
I never
Lizzie Borden.
sprung that on
Yeah,
you,
no,
so
that's
I'm
awesome.
curious. Okay, so as far as we're going to wrap up, but any upcoming projects you can tell us about real quick?
Real quick, I've got a comic in development.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a horror comic that I'm doing with Mike Lilly, who is a Batman artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out awesome, so hopefully that'll be out sometime next year.
Okay.
And I've got a couple other film projects in the works, just a matter of getting financing.
Okay, awesome. So go to jackthomassmith.com.
That's right.
Check him out. He's fantastic. I can vouch for him, and I love your work.
I paid
I'm
her
your
to say that.
biggest fan. Yeah, we'll talk about that after the show. So we are going to wrap up now. This wraps up our first episode of season 3. I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah,
absolutely.
it was a blast.
Yes, it was. So you go to my website is indieloungetv.com. You can follow me on Twitter at indieloungetv. And you can like me on Facebook, Indie Lounge TV. And also you can follow Jack on Twitter What is your Twitter handle?
Oh, the Twitter's at Jack T. Smith 1.
Okay.
And the Instagram is Jack Thomas Smith Official.
Yes, and we also have an Instagram for Indie Lounge TV as well. Go to Indie Lounge TV. Thank you again. This was so much fun, and I hope you enjoy the show. Take care. We'll see you next time.